إن الحمد لله نحمده حمدا كثيرا طيبا كما يستحق كل محامد. هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق وبلغ رسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده وترك الأمة على البيضاء ليلها كنهارها ولا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. صلى الله على نبينا وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، جزاكم الله خير إخوة. We're going to start inshallah كشف الشبهات. طيب, last we spoke about where Shaykhul-Islam says Allah Azza wa Jal sent Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and he called them to dua, should be for Allah, sacrifice for Allah. Okay, we covered those two last week, dua and dhabh. Today inshallah we'll talk about the next part of ibadah, which is an-nadhr. Kulluhu lillah. So vow, what is vow? The ulama have said al-vow, nadhr, is the ulama says هو إلزام يلزم العبد على نفسه ما لم يلزمه أصل الشرع. That another vow is that when a slave of Allah he makes something wajib on himself, which is in Sharia does not make wajib on himself. Okay, so let me give you an example. One example I can give you: if someone says, "Lillahi لوجدت عملا سأعتمر." I make vow by Allah that Azza wa Jal that if I find a job, I will make Umrah. That's a vow. That's another. So what has he done now? He made something obligatory on himself, where Sharia didn't say obligatory on yourself. But Umrah is Sunnah. Okay. Now because he got the job, he found the job, he has to make Umrah. It is wajib on him. Okay. Okay, and if he doesn't make what, if he doesn't does the umrah, then he's sinning for that. Now hadith of Prophet ﷺ says that hadith of Aisha, man nadhara an yuti' Allah falyuti' wa man nadhara an ya'si fala ya'si. That Prophet said that whoever make vow to obey Allah, like in this case, then she should obey it. If he makes vow to disobey Allah, don't disobey it. If someone says, out of he's whatever caused him, he says that if by Allah, if I don't get married, okay, I'm going to fall into sin. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the act. Billah. So that's the vow he made. But he can't fulfill that. Okay, he needs to do kafarat al-dhunub, which is if someone makes such vow to disobey Allah, do act of sin, he can't perform that act. It's haram. What do you have to do? Because you made vow upon something sin, you have to call expiation of the sin, which is you have to feed 10 people or clothe 10 of them, you normally you do, okay? Uh, or you have to free a slave. Okay, any of those two you have to do. If you can't do any of those, then you have to fast for 3 days. That's the expiation of the sin. Okay, but you start with the first two. If you can't get the first two done, then then you do the fasting for 3 days. طيب, that's the expiation of the sin for the person who make vow to disobey Allah Azza wa Jalla. But if you make vow to obey Allah, you have to obey Allah. If you don't, then you have to expiate do kafarat al-dhunub as well. But here you perform it. Okay, Allah said, "Yufuna bin nadri wa yakhafuna yawman kana sharru mustatira." Yufuna bin nadr. Allah talking about the people who make nadr, they fulfill that nadr. Allah praising those people. Okay, so when you make a vow that you can worship Allah, then do it. Now I want to mention something else. So we know that if you make a vow to obey Allah, worship Allah, like Umrah and other things, Umar radiallahu anhu, he made vow in Jahiliyyah before Islam. Ya Rasulullah, I made a vow, I'm going to make i'tikaf in Mecca, because the kuffar of the mushrik of the Quraysh, they used to do i'tikaf. So Umar said, Ya Rasulullah, when I was non-Muslim, Jahiliyyah, I made a vow to Allah that I'm going to make i'tikaf in Haram. Prophet is going to fulfill it. Fulfill that. So we have to do it. If you're going to make a vow like this to obey Allah, you have to fulfill it. طيب. Now, this ayah praising the believers who fulfill the vow. So therefore, it's a worship. You have to fulfill it. Okay. There's a hadith which says, لا تنظروا فإنه لا يخرج يستخرج منه إلا بخيل. That do not make vow. It does not bring anything out of you except stinginess. So the ulama says, how do we combine the hadith and the ayah, where Allah praises the one who fulfill it, and the one who hadith says do not make vow. Some of the scholars say it's haram to make a vow. Some say makruh, because what if you can't fulfill it? Okay, you don't have to. It's not from the Sharia of Allah to make vow every time you worship Allah. So the ulama says nazar are two types: uh, muqayyid and mutlaq. Mutlaq is you make vow. You just make vow. You don't make condition. Okay, lillahi nadhr sa'atamir. I made vow to Allah, I'm going to make umrah. Khalas, you go make umrah. You have to make vow. Okay, go make umrah. It's wajib on you now. You have to make umrah. But some says that's okay. Okay, that's mutlaq. Muqayyid, that's what it means by bakhil. That you make a condition to Allah. Like I gave you the condition. Allah, if you give me job, but Allah will make umrah. You make a condition to worship Allah. So my condition, if I get a job. So you being bakhil, you being stingy, you being selfish in that case. Now, in worship, we do not make nadar. We just fulfill what we need to fulfill. If you want to make umrah, go make umrah. You don't have to make a vow or anything like that. So when you make vow to obey Allah, you have to fulfill it. Wajib. If you make vow to disobey Allah, it's haram to fulfill it. You have to do kafaratul dhunub. Right? So, nadar, if you fulfill it, alhamdulillah. What if someone make vow something, not ibadah, but something worldly? Like, I'm going to give you a hadith now, hadith of Anas, I think. There was a man who was standing under the sun. And Prophet was giving khutbah, he's talking. So, Prophet said, what's wrong with this person? Why is he standing under the sun when he's sitting down? Ya Rasulullah, he made another vow that he will stand under the sun. So he's fulfilling it. He said, tell him to sit down. He doesn't fulfill that. Okay. So another one, someone was making Hajj. I think the lady or something. She was making a Hajj, and she said, I'm going to walk to Hajj. She's from another town. She's walking to Mecca. And then the Prophet was told, he said, Allah doesn't need of another. She doesn't have to do this. Tell her to take a riding bit and go to Mecca. This type of nadar is not ibadah, or you're committing sin. It's a worldly gain. Like, for example, someone says, I made nadar by Allah, Yawmul Jum'ah, I'm going to go and eat a hanid. Do you have to have hanid? Do you have to go and eat this Somalian dish? No, you don't have to. You go and eat fish and chips or something like that. This type of nadar, you don't have to fulfill it. And you don't have to make kafaratul dhunub based on this hadith, scholars have said. But yes, nadar kulluhu lillah, meaning that nadar is ibadah. You don't make vow by a righteous man, okay, Muhammad or Isa or Malaika. La, it's haram. Nadar is ibadah. You have to do nadar by the name of Allah Azza wa Jal. You have to make nadar by Allah. طيب, so Shaykhul-Islam says, النذر كله لله. We have to make nadar everything for Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, not for other than Allah. طيب, then continue with that. He said, والاستغاثة كلها بالله. And istighatha, all of it for Allah Azza wa Jal. Now we're talking about ibadah now, all this form of ibadah. Now what is istighatha? We have istighatha, isti'ana, and isti'adha. طيب. Now, isti'ana, talabul aun, seeking help for which is something khair, something good. So, we said this in the salah. Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadik. Oh Allah, a'inni ala dhikrika, aid me upon your remembrance, upon showing gratitude to you. Okay? Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadik, and aid me in your worship. So, i'ana here, a'ana, what is isti'ana? Isti'ana means seeking aid. So, isti'ana relate to things which are seeking aun, help in good. Allahumma a'inni ala qira'ati al-Quran. Oh Allah, help me in reciting the Quran. Okay. Allahumma a'inni ala fi salah. Allah, help me in the salah, in khushu and things like that. So isti'ana, wa salam, is related to you asking Allah for khair, for good. The word sin ta means seeking. Okay, seeking aid, seeking help. طيب. Um, so like nasara, to help, istansara, seeking help. طيب. So isti'ana talabul an fil khair, seeking aid, support in good. Now isti'adha, and we have in the Quran, قل أعوذ برب الفلق, قل أعوذ برب الناس. You know, isti'adha. Isti'adha is there. أعاذ يعيذ, to help. Isti'adha, seeking help. Now here, isti'adha, the ulama said, seeking help from shar, before it happens. Okay? Before it happens, you're seeking help of Allah. Could be anything. Any harm might fall upon you. تستعيذ بالله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. You know, when you recite Quran, you say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بكلمات الله تام. So you're seeking aid of Allah before the evil happens to you. Okay? So isti'adha is seeking aid of Allah before it happens from evil. Okay? And istighatha, which is this, is seeking aid of Allah a time of fear and terror, difficulties. Like in the Quran, Allah said, إِسْتَسْتَغِيثُونَ رَبَّكُمْ فَاسْتَجَابَ لَكُمْ إِنِّي أَنِّي مُمِدُّكُمْ بِأَلْفٍ مِّنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ مُرْدِفِينَ. That this ayah was revealed in Ghazwatul Badr. The Battle of Badr, the first battle, this is the one the ayah was revealed. You know, when Prophet ﷺ went out, 300 companions, Battle of Badr, and thousands of mushrikun. If you're good in math, you can count now how many one equal to them. Maybe 3 to 1. The three of them, one Muslim. Maybe something like that. طيب. So they're in Battle of Badr, facing the kuffar. First battle, Ramadan. Okay? So Prophet made dua to Allah. And he made dua, and he was shedding tears so much that the beard was covered with wet, the tears. So his rida fell on the floor, the cloth. Abu Bakr came and put it on the shoulder, and he said, Ya Rasulullah, Allah has accepted your dua. He heard your dua, and he will aid you. Once the dua finished, Allah revealed an ayah. إِسْتَسْتَغِيثُونَ رَبَّكُمْ فَاسْتَجَابَ لَكُمْ أَنِّي مُمِدُّكُمْ بِأَلْفٍ مِّنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ مُرْدِفِينَ. Oh Muhammad, remember at the time you made istighatha. So this is the time of terror, isn't it? Battle, jihad. Allah didn't say istastaghithu, istasta'idhu. No, tastaghithu. No. Okay? Fastajaba lakum. Your Lord responded to your dua. The ulama, look at the important part of that dua. When did he accept the dua? After 1 day? After 2 hours, 3 hours? Fahiya mean fastajaba lakum. Straight away Allah accepted the dua. When the dua finished, Allah sent the malaika. Thousands of malaika in row came down to help the companions, the believers. So Allah responded straight away. And I will send you down in rank angels to help you. So istighatha is done at the time of severity, fear and terror, and that's what happened. Okay, in Ghazwatul Badr, the first battle. Can you imagine the fear they went through? Natural fear, obviously, 300 and thousands of them, but Allah put strength in their heart, and so that dua Prophet made known as istighatha. It's not dua, istighatha. Okay, calling at the time of difficulty, time of terror, time of scary. Anything can happen. طيب. So that's istighatha for you. So isti'ana, isti'adha, and istighatha. These are three types of alfaz, but they're all type of dua, but the specific time, specific dua. Okay. So here we say istighatha. The ulama have explained there are 4 types of istighatha. The first type of istighatha is that you do for Allah Azza wa Jal in things that no one can help you, aid you except Allah. Like Battle of Badr. Can anyone aid the Prophet except Allah from this kuffar? No one. Then no one can aid him except Allah. He turned to Allah Azza wa Jal, and Allah aided him. So if that's istighatha only for Allah, turning other than Allah is major shirk. So Prophet turned to Allah Azza wa Jal. So istighatha billah fima la yaqdiru alayhi illallah. Okay, fahuwa lillah. Okay, that to make istighatha in things that which is only Allah can aid you, and to turn other than Allah, then it's major shirk. Okay. Now istighatha, second type of istighatha is the istighatha bil amwat. Okay, making istighatha to deceased. Okay, فيما لا يقدر عليه. Okay, okay, to calling deceased, someone has passed away, he has no qudra to help you, protect you, like going to Abdul Qadir Jilani, and people doing that, and we should know this is shirk billah azza wa jalla. You're asking Abdul Qadir Jilani to give a cure, to save the deceased, bring the ruh back, yadu billah. These istighatha, these are shirkiyat. Because they are dead. Okay, they are dead. So, Allah said, وَالَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِهِ مَا يَمْلِكُونَ مِنْ قِطْمِيرٍ. Okay, those who invoke Allah Azza wa Jal, they have no power to create qitmir. Qitmir is a layer of, or la yamlikuna min qitmir. It's a layer in dates. Open a date, the layer, that's called qitmir. Allah saying they can't even create that, those who you worship beside Allah. إِن تَدْعُوهُمْ لَا يَسْمَعُ دُعَاءَكُمْ وَإِن تَدْعُوهُمْ. That if you were to make dua to them, they will not hear your dua, because they're dead. Okay, they are dead. So here calling the deceased is major shirk. طيب. So this is the second of istighatha bil amwat, calling on dead people. That's second type. The third type, which is allowed, istighatha bil ahya hadir wal qadir. Someone is alive, front of you, and able to help you. Three things. Making istighatha. Okay? Someone who is front of you, hadir, front of you, high, alive, and qadir, able to help you. These three conditions, if he's there, you're allowed to make istighatha by the person. So let me give you an example. The one I give from the Quran, Musa alayhi salam. You know what Musa did? When a man was attacked physically by Shia, some group of people, they're going to kill him. So he called Musa was there. He called Musa wasn't haram because he's alive and he's qadir and he would help and in front of him. What Musa did, he struck him and he killed the person. Okay. So what benefit do we take from that? Is that you are allowed to make istighatha by a human being if they're alive, front of you, and they're able to help you. Okay. Also, we can give another example. Same situation in nowadays. If a brother gets attacked by a group of people and is serious, and he finds the brother who is in front of him, who is able to help him, knows him, has strength, he's brave as well. He calls him, and calling him to aid him, support him, protect him. That's nothing wrong with that. If you're looking for help, this is istighatha. طيب. So this type of istighatha is allowed, providing you fulfill the three conditions. Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen brings another one, and in reality, it could be possible. For example, istighatha bil hayy. Okay, making istighatha by somebody who is alive. Okay, front of you, but غير قادر, he can't help you. And we gave an example like this, for example, and say you're drowning. Okay, and this is fear, it's scary, isn't it? And you're calling a child, maybe 1 year old, to help you. That's, I understand, but this is not shirk, but it's being foolish. Child cannot help you, protect you. Maybe turn back to Allah in that situation. Always, all of them, even you turn to Allah first, but these are means. But if the means is halal, alhamdulillah. طيب. So my brothers and the viewers, did istighatha at 4 types we have mentioned, and these are the types. Inshallah, I hope it's clear. And then Shaykhul-Islam says, وجميع الأنواع العبادات كله لله, and all the types of worship should be for sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. And we can just mention them. We can say trust, fear, love, hope, salah, sajda, intention. All of this worship and others should be for sake of Allah Azza wa Jal alone. And they should be, okay. طيب, now continuing inshallah. وعرفت أن إقرارهم بتوحيد الربوبية لم يدخلهم في الإسلام, وأن قصدهم الملائكة والأنبياء والأولياء يريدون شفاعتهم والتقرب إلى الله بذلك. طيب, you have come to realize that their belief in Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, Tawheed, oneness of Allah in their lordship. What is Tawheed al-Rububiyyah? The Allah, the creator, the provider, sustainer, the one who gives life and death, the control of the heaven and the earth. That's Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. The mushrikun of the Quraysh, they believed in Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, but that belief in that did not make them Muslim. Iblis believed that. Very important part of our belief. Very important part of our deen. Okay, because if we don't worship Allah Azza wa Jalla alone, we have shirkiyat in ibadat, but they believe in rububiyyah of Allah. Allah exists, He's the creator of the heaven and earth, the Lord of the heaven and earth. That won't make him Muslim, because that was the belief of the Quraysh, mushrik of the Quraysh. And Prophet ﷺ did not say, okay, khalas, they believe in rububiyyah, that's all right, no problem, you're Muslim. No, he didn't say that. He fought them. He called them to La ilaha illallah. وأن قصدهم ملائكة والأنبياء والأولياء يريدون. So basically, they believed in the rububiyyah of Allah Azza wa Jal, but what was the problem with them? The uluhiyyah, which is what? Their worship, they will turn the worship to the angels, the prophet, the righteous. And what did they turn their worship to them? This mushrik of the Quraysh, even nowadays, they will say, no, we don't believe them, our God. We don't say they're creator provider. We don't believe they created us. They give life and death. We believe in Allah. Okay? But we ask Allah through them. We are sinners. We are weak. They are righteous. Lat wal Uzza wa Manat. Okay, the other five righteous we mentioned in the Quran. We worship them because they're righteous people. We're sinners. We ask Allah through them. And they take a'mal to them, to Allah. They raise it to Allah. They intercede for us. Okay, that's what we do. But in ibadat, there is no such thing wasita. In ibadat, there are no intermediaries. You ask Allah directly. Your salah, your zakat, your hajj, everything that you do directly to Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah never said, worship me through my righteous slaves. Worship me through the Prophet. Worship me through Allah. Nothing like that. You will not find anything like that in Quran, Sunnah, and the Salaf did that. Nothing. Even I can give you an example. When Prophet passed away, they never went to Prophet to make dua for rain or anything like that. They'll go to Abbas. And very important. And a lot of Muslims, they believe they can go to righteous people and ask them. They believe the awliya has some sort of power. Yadu billah. So the Quraysh, their intention when they worship Allah, they worship through the malaika, the Prophet, and the righteous, seeking the shafa'a. Okay? وَالَّذِينَ اتَّخَذُوا مِن دُونِ أَوْلِيَاءَ مَا نَعْبُدُهُمْ إِلَّا لِيُقَرِّبُونَ إِلَى اللَّهِ زُلْفَى. Okay? Those who have taken awliya other than Allah, deity other than Allah, they say, we don't worship them, except they take us close to Allah. وَيَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ مَا لَا يَضُرُّهُمْ وَلَا يَنْفَعُهُمْ وَيَقُولُونَ هَؤُلَاءِ شُفَعَاؤُنَا عِندَ اللَّهِ. Those who invoke other than Allah, okay, who cannot benefit them or harm them, okay, they say these are shufa'a. Shufa'a is of shafi', okay, they are shufa'a with Allah. That's what Allah is saying. The Shaykh saying here, they take them as a shufa'a, and Allah is saying that as well. طيب? So they will say, they are not our creators. The malaika, the angel, the idol, they are not our God. They never created us. But we worship Allah through them because they're righteous. Yadu billah. We say, Allah never asked you to worship Allah through the righteous. Allah created you to worship Allah. Ask Allah. Allah said, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمْ أُدْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. Your Lord said, call on me, I'll respond to your dua. Where did Allah in the Quran make dua to me through the righteous? Never. You'll never find it. Which Prophet turned to Allah with dua through the righteous? Prophet made istighatha, form of dua, istighatha. He turned to Allah. We never went through Isa, never went through other prophets. Never. Or malaika. He asked Allah directly. Allah can see you. Allah can hear you. There's no need for wasita. There's no intermediary in this. طيب. So, so the mushrikun, the Quraysh, that's what they did. And that was their shirk. It's not they don't believe in Allah. They believed in Allah. They believed Allah, the Lord of the heaven and earth. Okay? So, that's what the Shaykh saying. When they make when they worship, when they make intention to worship other than Allah, they do it as a shafa'ah. تقرب إلى الله, to take them close to Allah. بذلك, okay? But after all that, هو الذي Prophet ﷺ أحل دماءهم وأموالهم. Even after all that, he made their blood halal. They never was Muslim, because Prophet came to them and he told them, قولوا لا إله إلا الله تفلحون. Something like, say لا إله إلا you'll be successful. Okay? He said, do you believe me? I'm a trustworthy person. Okay? They said, yes, we trust you in everything. If I say there is a group of army coming behind the mountain to attack you, will you believe me? Yes. Then he said, I'm telling you, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. And they start abusing him, this, that. Then they believe in him. So he gave them da'wah, obviously, and he called them to La ilaha illallah. Then they accepted La ilaha illallah. And and he didn't know, did he say, okay, you guys believe in rububiyyah, khalas, I'll stop you there. La, la. Even then, Prophet made the blood and the word halal, because they weren't Muslim. So just believing Allah being the Lord of the heaven and the earth doesn't make a person Muslim. And we have quoted a verse about Iblis, and that's the biggest evidence. The one who lived in Jannah, the first creation of Allah, okay, who worshipped Allah. He was before Malaika, okay. He lived in Jannah. And Allah said about Iblis, Inni akhafullah Rabbal Alamin. I fear Allah, the Lord of the world. Okay? Rabbul Alamin, yeah. So, shows that Iblis even had knowledge of Allah. That he, the creator of heaven and earth. He lived in Jannah, he spoke to Allah. He lived with Jibril, Mikael, all of them. But he did not have uluhiyah. Okay? He became arrogant. So, many examples we can give, inshallah. عرفت حينئذ التوحيد الذي دعت إليه الرسل وأبي عن الإقرار به المشركون وأبى عن الإقرار بالمشركون. So you come to realize now the tawheed which messengers have came to call to was tawheed al-uluhiyyah, and but the mushrikun, they rejected it. There's a hadith, Prophet ﷺ, he said that al-anbiya ikhwatul la'allat wa ummahatu shatta wa dinum wahid. It's a good hadith that al-anbiya ikhwatul la'allat. The prophets are brothers from one father. La'allat is one father. So why is the Prophet giving example with one father? This one father represents tawheed, one tawheed. Okay? Ummahum shatta. They have different mothers. Different mothers. So maybe the parent, he has 4 wives, and he has a lot of children. So a lot of children, they have one father, which is one deen, one tawheed, and they have different mothers. And that represents ahkam al-shar'iyya. Meaning that the Musa alayhi salam, all the prophets, the ahkam al-shar'iyya different to Musa, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi salam. Okay? Maybe Musa didn't have a ahkam, for example, siyam. Maybe he never had siyam. Isa never had siyam. Ibrahim never had siyam. Okay, to first month of Ramadan. In the Sharia, the Prophet never had that. But Prophet has it. Okay? Certain things like tayammum, other ahkam al-shar'iyya, Prophet before, they never had it. So in the ahkam, they're different. But tawheed is one. The hadith says, وَدِينُهُمْ وَاحِدٌ. And their deen is one, al-Islam. طيب. So all the prophets, they came with a tawheed of Allah, al-Islam. طيب. So the mushrikun rejected. They did not acknowledge what Prophet came with. طيب. Continue with that. وهذا التوحيد هو معنى قولك لا إله إلا الله. And tawheed is la ilaha illallah. Okay? And we have mentioned this before. I just want to repeat again as a reminder. طيب. La ilaha illallah is tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal. And if you look at these 2 pillars, negation, affirmation, and my brothers and the viewers, that these 2 pillars of la ilaha illallah has to be there. negation, affirmation. You have to negate and you have to affirm. If one of them is missing, you cannot be a believer. And Muhammad Aman al-Jami, one of the Shaykh, rahimahullah, passed away. The best evidence for this is when Allah said, فَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ وَيُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْأُثْقَى. That فَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ, whoever disbelieves in Taghut, false deities, and believe in Allah, then he has hold something very strong. And many verses like Allah said, وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Worship Allah, do not associate anything with Allah Azza wa Jal. That is La ilaha illallah. So, وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا لَا إِلَهَ. So you have an ayah like this. The ulama, they mention when Allah command for worship, he warns against shirk. And that comes in the Quran a lot. Um, so, La ilaha illallah has negation and affirmation. فإن الإله عندهم هو الذي يقصد لأجل هذه الأمور. So basically, ilah, what does ilah mean? We covered it, isn't it? Ilah is al-ilah is Allah who deserves all the worship. Okay, that's the definition of ilah with us. Okay, the people of Hadith and people of the Muslimun. Okay, but the فإن الإله عندهم, the ilah regarding the Quraysh, mushrik of the Quraysh, they understood this way. هو الذي يقصد لأجل هذه الأمور. So their ilah, whoever they worship, the angel or the prophet or the wali or the tree or the grave or jinn, whoever they worship, they turn their ibadah, the vow or the sacrifice, istighatha, all of these ibadah, they will turn to them, okay, for shufa'a, or to take them close to Allah Azza wa Jal, okay. They will turn all the ibadah to them, okay, to take them close to Allah, or the shufa'a. And to them, that's, and they say that the creation that they worship, they say they are not created the provider or the controller, but we only worship them to take us close to Allah Azza wa Jal. That's the ilah to them. Okay? Ilah to them is that they mean that a Sayyid, which means a master, the creator, the Lord of the heaven and the earth, and things like that. So their ilah is, they believe that the ilah is that anything worship is ilah. So whatever they worship, righteous people, that's the ilah. But they don't say they are my creator, the provider, sustainer, but we worship Allah through them, okay, to take us close to Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's wrong, obviously. If you believe Allah is ilah, why are you going through the righteous? Ilah means you should worship Allah alone without taking the intermediaries. فأتاهم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يدعوهم إلى كلمة التوحيد وهي لا. The Prophet came to them. Allah sent the Prophet. Allah will never destroy a nation without sending a messenger. So Prophet came to them and he called them to La ilaha illallah. Okay? So that's the difference between when we say ilah and the mushrikun say ilah. When we say Allah is ilah, we ask Allah directly without believing any righteous or taking any intermediary. No, we ask Allah directly. But the Quraysh, they say, no, we believe in Allah, but we go to the idols, the righteous. We are weak, whatever. We go, A'udhu Billah. Tayyib, but Prophet, as we have mentioned, Prophet did not accept that. Allah didn't accept that. Prophet still gave them da'wah and called them, this is shirk, to the extent that they didn't believe it. And he made their blood halal and everything to fight against them. طيب, continue with that. والمراد من هذه الكلمة معناها لا مجرد لفظها. طيب, so the meaning behind this word La ilaha illallah is not just to utter the word La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. It's the case with some of the Muslims nowadays. They say La ilaha illallah when they go to Hajj and Umrah and they make shirk with Allah Azza wa Jal. They go to Muhammad Sallallahu grave and they seek barakah from the Safa wal Marwa. I've seen that. They go to Arafah, they do masah and they think barakah will come to them. So where is your La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah? Where is La ilaha illallah? This, what you're doing now, it contradicts to La ilaha illallah. Because you believe you only believe barakah is from Allah. Okay? We only believe barakah is from Allah Azza wa Jal. Only some say Anbiya, some say Prophet ﷺ, only person you can seek barakah through is the Prophet's body, his hair and his sweat. Okay? Once Prophet was inside the house lying down, a lady came in, and she's Prophet Mahram. Okay? Prophet Mahram. She came in and she took some, we covered in Kitab al-Tawheed, Tabarruk, chapter on Tabarruk, seeking blessing. She took the sweat of the Prophet ﷺ in a container, and Prophet said, "What is this you doing?" He said, "I'm seeking blessing through this, your sweat." Prophet didn't say anything. Salama radiallahu anha, she had a container, and toward the end of Hajj, she put all the hair of the Prophet in the container. So she said, I left it for people to seek, to tabarruk through the hair of Prophet. The halal, because his body is mabruk, his sweat is mabruk, blessed, his hair is blessed. So it was allowed for the Prophet body to be used, his sweat, his hair, to be used for tabarruk, for seeking blessing. But that's only allowed for the prophets and Anbiya. But other than that, it's not allowed. It's not allowed. That the barakah for the believers is our action is barakah. Okay, that's what it is. But we're not allowed to seek blessing through any human. So what we're talking about is that La ilaha illallah. When you say La ilaha illallah, when you start going seeking blessing from Safa and Marwa and the rock on Yawm al-Arafah, that's contradicting the Sharia of Allah. It contradicts the La ilaha illallah, because barakah is only from Allah. And to believe a human being can bless you, give you barakah, is major shirk. Major shirk. So see that. People say La ilaha illallah. These people pray 5 times a day, they believe in Allah, they got beard and all that, but they don't have the knowledge of the deen. They start seeking blessing from this creation. Okay? So when we go to Mecca, Allah talks about barakah, yeah? سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله. That we have called Muhammad to go from Mecca to Jerusalem, then we called him to go up, yeah? But he went Jerusalem, and Jerusalem, Allah said, we blessed surrounding areas. What does blessing there mean? Not take the rock and seeking blessing from it. La. Meaning the rivers, the tree, the sakina, all that. So when you go to Haram, Medina or Mecca, there's a barakah in it. It doesn't mean you go to the wall and start doing masah and khalas barakah is coming to me, and going to Kaaba and then khalas barakah is coming down. No, that's not what barakah here means. The barakah is the fact you're going to pray there, your iman, your sakina, your concentration, the iman goes up in your khushu. This is what barakah is talking about. The spiritual iman, the spiritual strength. That's the barakah. طيب. Uh, so here we say La ilaha illallah. It's not just mujarrad nutq. It's not just La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Khalas. What does Muhammad Rasulullah mean? People say Muhammad Rasulullah, they don't follow his sunnah. People say Muhammad Rasulullah, they go contradicting what he says. So that doesn't make sense. You know, when you say Muhammad Rasulullah, you have to understand what it means. Okay? So a lot of people say this, but their lifestyle is different. They don't follow the Sharia. They commit shirk. So والكفار جهال يعلمون أن مراد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بهذه الكلمة هو إفراد الله تعالى بالتعلق به. So basically, let's go to what Shaykhul-Islam said about kuffar. The kuffar, they were Arab, they knew Arabic language, and they knew what it means, or what Prophet said, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. They knew what it means. That's what they didn't say it. That's when the Prophet said to them, say La ilaha illallah, and they say, Aja'ala alihatan ilahun wahid. Has he made all this alih into one ilah? That's what they said, because they know what you're talking about. We know what you're saying, Muhammad. You're trying to say, make all this alih into one ilah. That's what it means. La ilaha illallah means that's what they're saying. They understood. That's what they never said it. But Muslim nowadays, they say La ilaha illallah, they know what they're saying. Obviously, they don't know Arabic. But, so if they say that, they have to, their connection with Aliha have to come down. They have to leave all this Aliha and they have to worship one Allah, which they don't want to do. طيب? So they knew what it means. والكفر بما يعبد من دون الله براءة منه فإنه لما قال لهم قولوا لا إله إلا الله أجعل آلهة إلها واحد إن هذا لشيء عجاب. So what they've understood is that if I say La ilaha illallah, I have to free myself from all of this aliha and worship one Allah alone. When they when Prophet said, "Qulu la ilaha illallah," say la ilaha illallah, they said, "Have you made all this aliha into one ilah?" This is the strangest thing we have heard. Okay, because they know what it means. They will never say it. They will never say what Prophet. Obviously, a lot of people became Muslim. Obviously, فإذا عرفت أن الجهال كفار يعرفون ذلك فالعجب ممن يدعي الإسلام وهو لا يعرف من تفسير هذه الكلمة من عرفه الجهال كفار. طيب, so Shaykh says now, if you realize you've come to realize that the ignorant kuffar, the kuffar of Jahiliyyah, they knew what it means. But the strangest thing is that a lot of people claim Muslim, claim Islam, and he doesn't know the explanation of La ilaha illallah. Kalima La ilaha illallah. What does La ilaha illallah mean? La ma'buda bihaqqin illallah. There none has the right to be worshipped in truth except Allah. Um, that's the, and Allah said, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ وَالْحَقِّ. That Allah is the haqq. So He is the truth in worship, in every aspect of Tawheed. He is the haqq. Rububiyyah, Uluhiyyah, Asma Sifat, in His Lordship, in His worship, in His names and attributes. He is unique. So here, none has the right to be worshipped in truth, meaning that He is the only ilah. Anything worshipped beside Allah is not the true ilah. And Allah is the only one who deserves to be worshipped alone. So none has the right to worship in truth except Allah. So anything that is worshipped beside Allah are false deities. They are false deities. They are not true ilah. That's the meaning of La ilaha illallah. So Muslim nowadays, they claim to be Muslim, but they don't understand this word La ilaha illallah, like the kuffar understood. بل يظن أن ذلك في what's the meaning? 30. Okay, we're going to finish this in a minute, inshallah. Uh, بل يظن أن ذلك هو التلفظ بحروفها من غير اعتقاد قلب لشيء من المعاني. So, but in fact, so they believe that La ilaha illallah is to utter with the word without belief in the heart. So what is Iman, my brother? Iman is to believe in the heart, statement of the tongue, action of the limb. That's the Iman. So if someone utters what Shaykh is saying, but he doesn't believe in the heart, he's a munafiq. If he believes in the heart and he doesn't utter it, believes but doesn't utter it, then this is Abu Talib. Abu Talib believed, never uttered it. Okay? If he believes it, he utters it, but doesn't have action, then this contradicts the La ilaha illallah. It contradicts the La ilaha illallah because it doesn't coincide with that. طيب يا إخوة, we continue next week. Inshallah, jazakumullah khair. The doubt will come soon, inshallah. He'll give the doubt. Any question, inshallah, because Adhan going to be starting soon, 15. Because any question you want to give? Ask me, inshallah. Mm. Depends, isn't it? If something istighatha is happening at the moment straight away. So if, like the example we gave, if someone got attacked or something like that, uh, and if he makes, there's no time to make a phone call and get help, it'll be too late. So depend what it is. If someone sees there's danger, but case or something like that, they'll behead him or something, billah, falsely, and he's trying to get help. He's in fear, he's in terror, and something might happen to him. But he's got a certain amount of days. Then he can make a phone call of somebody, a lawyer, a barrister, to help him. That's different, isn't it? Then obviously it's allowed, yeah. But something happening now, you got attack like Musa alayhi salam. You don't have to make a phone call because they're going to kill you now. So you see somebody in the front, then you call him. That's obviously, then you need somebody help now at the moment. But if you got time schedule, if you got 1 week, case gonna finish and this gonna happen to you, billah, execution, whatever. But you're Mazloom, you're oppressed, then you got a lawyer or barrister can aid you on this. Then you make a phone call. Then no problem with that, inshallah. Yeah, yeah, inshallah. Hope that is clear. Is that clear? Yeah. Okay. Go on now. Uh, Seeking blessing. I don't know exactly how it's done. I have to read on that, inshallah. Yeah, I have to read on that. Because it is allowed with the hair of Prophet Islam and with the, yeah. So what next week I will answer the question, inshallah. Yeah, because the Sahabas, they did use the hair of Prophet Islam and the sweat to seek blessing through that. It's a good question. I'm gonna, inshallah, next week I'll try and answer it, or maybe on the WhatsApp also next week in the lesson, inshallah. Brother at the back, Muhammad. The same one, yeah. This hadith, I think Bukhari Muslims hadith. You'll find that Sheikh brings that Sheikh in Kitab al-Tabarruk. I'll give you the hadith on the WhatsApp, inshallah, tonight. I'll try and get it. Yeah. The benefit of the nazar, there's no benefit in the nazar. Okay. Only benefit is that if you fulfill it, then you fall under the ayah. Allah praising you. But I mean, it's not haram to make nazar if you fulfill it. But a lot of ulama says, don't make nazar. And what if you make nazar and you die and you don't fulfill it? So that's another question. So you're putting in yourself in a situation where you don't need to put it. Because nazar, you're making something wajib on yourself. Sharia never made wajib on you. Why are you making it wajib, make it difficult for yourself? So we avoid that. A lot of people ask me, oh, I made another, this. Try and avoid it. Don't try to make another, because there's no benefit in that sense. Yeah. Putting yourself difficulty. Go on, Akhi. Umar made another in Jahiliyyah and then he fulfilled it when he became Muslim. The Prophet said, go and fulfill another. Another was i'tikaf in Mecca. So Prophet said, go and fulfill it. So if someone made another, say 5-10 years ago, he didn't realize, but then he then grow up and then realize, I made vow, I didn't fulfill it. So if he's obedient, ibadah, he need to fulfill it. If he forgets, never remembers, then khalas, he forgotten, isn't it? Then he fall under the hadith, nisyan, forgetfulness is overlooked by Allah Azza wa Jal. So, but if he remembers, he should. That's why try and avoid making look. Practically, we know a lot of people make nadar, but there's no benefit in that. If you're putting yourself in a difficult situation, and like Umar radiallahu anhu, the classical example, radiallahu anhu, he made vow jahiliyyah, they need to fulfill it. So, but if a Muslim makes vow, made a vow 5 years ago, for no, maybe he didn't understand and realize, but he needs to make it up if he remembers straight away. Yeah, can't be negligent on that. Any questions? Khalas? Okay, jazakum Allah.